Welcome friends, how are you all doing? Welcome to Sharmishta and Books. I missed you a lot guys, and today I am here with another book recommendation video where I am going to talk about 10 books. Before doing that, I just want to give you a disclaimer that this video was actually edited. I made a video where I have put 20 books that you should read this year, which I read last year. But when I started editing that video, I realized that that video was so long. So what I did, I cut down that video and I only posted about 10 books, and I still had that remaining 10 books which I didn't add to that video. So basically these are the books I read last year and I felt like should be included in your book list if you are a bookworm like me. Before moving to that video, I really want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. I really love doing these fun book chats with you, and if you really love my videos, please subscribe to my channel. It will mean a lot to me. See you soon after the intro. So I'm back and let's talk about the books. I have categorized the books by genre, and I have contemporary, I have classics, I have poetry, and I have middle grade, horror, gothic, fantasy, many things. So let's dive into this. The first book I'm going to talk about is Heartstopper 2. I have read volume 2. I have loved the series. I have really loved the boys who played Charlie and who played Nick. I really love the Netflix original series, and I'm kind of saving the volume 3 and 4 for this year because I know within volume 4 this Heartstopper series ends, and that makes me so sad. But yes, this is one of the comfort reads which talks gently about love, a relationship, about coming out, about I think so many important things with kind sensitivity and love, and it just so gentle and so positive that I think after reading it you will feel that it has made your day. Okay, next I have Ballad of Reading Gowls by my favorite Oscar Wilde. Now this is another long poem that was part of my syllabus, and before that I really didn't know that this poem existed and Oscar Wilde could write this type of poetry, and it just blew my mind. And I didn't have the copy at that time. I was reading from my textbooks provided by my university, but thank God now I can show you this book, and this has other poems by Oscar Wilde as well. And Ballad of Reading Gowls is based on his experience in Reading prison, where he was imprisoned for being homosexual. Yeah, that time really sucked. So and he was sharing cell with a murderer who was going to be hanged or going to be electrocuted, I think, at that time. And he was writing about the idea of punishment and the right human practices on other human being, and the right that empowers other human beings to judge and imprison and give punishment to others, while in God's eyes everyone is same. So this is a very different take on punishment and on salvation and damnation, on everything that we are taught. And Oscar always talks about the different angles. That's why he is very controversial in his time, because he didn't believe in moral and immoral. If you have read his great novel, one of my favorite novels of all time, which actually built my love for reading, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray. You know that how he nurtured the idea of being spoiled or being really immoral, and everything that influences one person to do something immoral. And the lines of this poem is my favorite lines of all time, and I have to read it out for you guys. And all men kill the thing they love, by all let this be heard. Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The coward does it with a kiss, the brave man with a sword. I love Oscar Wilde. I love him from the bottom of my heart. And if I could do anything to meet one literary figure of that period, I would do anything to meet Oscar Wilde, and I would do anything to have a chat with him and be friend with him. Other thing that really intrigued me, because this collection has some poems that are direct criticism of British Empire and British colonialism, and which is actually torturing the rest of the world to gain more wealth. He is so on point and so brave about it, and so bravely he did that criticism in his poetry that just earned more of my respect. Okay, next I have Pygmalion by Bernard Shaw. This is a classic play. This is very short, funny, and if you are interested in looking at Bernard Shaw's feminist view, you should definitely pick this book. It's about redemption of a girl who is a flower girl who doesn't have a proper education, who speaks in Cockney dialect, and she will meet Professor Higgins, who is a professor of linguistics, and he will train her to be a lady, and then we will see what happens to her. And his relationship with this girl Eliza, and also there is another professor and there is another boy in her life, so how these relationships will work out and what will be the great change in her life after having that education that will make her a lady and turn her into someone who can fit into an aristocrat society. Read this book. This is very short, and if you want to get into Bernard Shaw's plays, this can be a great start. This will give you an overall idea of his humor as well, and also his political view. Next, I have another play, and that is by Tennessee Williams, A Streetcar Named Desire, and I absolutely love the depressive narrative of Tennessee Williams. He sees the world through a pair of dark eyes that is so disgusted with the world, yet so tempted to tell the stories of these people who are in a hopeless state, who can achieve no salvation, but he tells their tale and it's heartbreaking, and you keep on going, you keep on reading them about them, you feel bad for them, you feel bad for the world. It's so unfair, but you can't stop reading his writing because that's the greatness of Tennessee Williams. And now I have another classic that is probably read by everyone, and if not read, heard by everyone. And the first time when I was doing my graduation, I actually didn't finish reading it, but I had to read it because in my masters I again got this novel, and I finally finished reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And this book is, I don't know, I have nothing to say about it because everyone knows the story. But yes, I think the love story, it is a bit overrated. I get the point that it is the first story that deals with the misunderstanding between two protagonists, and it actually whole new genre of angry young man like Darcy, and all the unusual quirk of heroines like Elizabeth. But other than that, I think this is a very great drama. This is a very great family drama, a very good take on the characters who are solely involved in this system where marriage is so important for young women who are not given any other option for their life, where marriage is the most important thing of their life, and how their mother is kind of responsible to make that happen for them. I think this is a very good take on the socio-political situation of England of that time, and that's why I really loved it. I didn't enjoy the chemistry of Elizabeth and Darcy. After watching the film adaptation, I really thought I would enjoy their chemistry, but in this book I don't really see the chemistry. They hardly meet for like 10 to 12 minutes, and they don't have really romantic or meaningful conversation. It's all about their misunderstanding and each other blaming each other and writing letters afterward to make that misunderstanding go. So it's a huge misunderstanding, but I really love the other aspect of the novel. Next, I have A Passage to India by E.M. Forster. This is my second E.M. Forster book, and I am really fond of his writing style. I think the way he has studied the cultural differences, he studied the existence of different languages, different culture, different religion in India, and how that is affected by the British colonialism, and how the power dynamic of that chemistry works. So know that you should definitely read this book, because again, this was part of my syllabus, and I'm so lucky to have this beautiful syllabus. I enjoyed reading British novels and British plays, which was part of my semester 1. And if you are afraid of classics, and if you are from India, I think you can start with A Passage to India, because this is a familiar setting. You will be comfortable reading about it. You already know it. And also, E.M. Forster's writing is not difficult. He knows how to build a novel, and he does it so well in each of his books. So I can guarantee you will enjoy reading this one. But you have to give it some time, because long classics like this have settings and take time to build the character, to develop the characterization. So you have to be patient, and you have to give it sometimes. But after sometimes you will get definitely hooked, and you will not be able to put this down, and you will continue reading it. And I think this will inspire you to read more classics. Another classic that I finished this year, I think I finished this in the beginning of December, and that is Taste of Daffodils by Thomas Hardy. Now, I have included this book in my last English video where I was talking about the best book I have read recently. And Taste of Daffodils is one of Hardy's most famous work. Not one of my favorite Hardy, but I think I'm glad that I read this, because this is very important. The character of Taste will shape the future of heroines of Victorian period, so she is very important. And the tale is long, but yes, I love Hardy. I love his cinematic descriptions. That is the one brilliant thing, very different from his other contemporary writers. And I think I enjoyed reading it, but I was really looking forward to see Taste take a step and take charge of her life, which never happened in the book until the ending, and that's the only thing I hated. But I really love the narration. I love Thomas Hardy's writing, and his book is the first classic I read, which is Far from the Madding Crowd, and which made me fall in love with reading again, which gave me courage to pick classic books. So Hardy will always remain the writer who has influenced me, who has inspired me to get ahead of my fear of classic and just love literature more. And that's why I'm biased about Hardy. So yes, I loved the novel. I didn't really like the character of Tess. I thought many things that happened to her was unfair, and it just happened and she reacted. She never took the charge. But it's Hardy, you know. I am biased. So we have finally come to the last book of this video, and that is Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. I know, yes, this is a book that is loved by your professors but not loved by you. And I know there are some friends of mine also tried reading this book, and they said that the narrative really didn't go well with them. They couldn't actually follow the narrative. I was really skeptical and scared actually before reading this, but which really helped me was the notes given by my university. Before getting into the text, I went through the notes, I read them, and those notes are actually about the theme of the narrative, about the political and historical background, which really intrigued me to read the original book, the original text. And that's how, before reading the text, I went through the notes, which I don't do usually. I finish the books first and then go to the notes or any critical writing. But for this one, I did the opposite, and it actually worked. For some books, you need to do a ground study, and this is a kind of a book I think you can't just go and pick it up. This is a kind of a book that will take some time of yours to be able to appreciate the greatness of the book. And I'm glad that I got guidance, and I didn't pick this book before reading anything about it or before attending any lecture, because if I did so, I think I would hate the book like others as well. So I would definitely suggest you to find some notes and critical writings about Joseph Conrad and about the story behind Heart of Darkness. This is one important book on racism that you should definitely read, and this is also controversial if Joseph Conrad himself is racist or not, but we will get into that later in some other time. But now I think yes, there are controversies on this book. Before indulging into that, I think we should definitely first read the text, and then we should consider it for ourselves whether those controversies, those theories make any sense or not. Okay guys, this was the part 2 of all the best books I have read in 2022. I hope you have loved the video, and I had to divide this video into 2 sections because you know this is crazy, and I had an amazing year last year. I read amazing books, and I'm hoping to do the same this year, and I hope the same thing for you too. So take care, tata, bye bye, see you soon, and please subscribe to my channel, please.